Me now?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so great. All right, so we'll go around, introduce ourselves. We got Dr. Scott on. I don't know that Dr. Scott's been with us before, so he'll get to know who else is here on the mastermind. But like I said, today I want to focus in on some challenges, some goals, some things, and see if we can walk away with some actionable things to help people on their journey, whatever that might be. So, and if I'm wonky, keep reminding me, and that way I won't be so much on the recording today. But Randy, why don't you? I'm going to let you start today since you were the first one on. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, you guys all know me except Dr. Scott. I'm a retired corporate turnaround executive. And I'm in the no longer in the prime of my life and beginning to feel the aging process taking its grip on me. But I've got a variety of skills and I've done a lot of things, and my pitch is to help people. I don't charge for my consulting services. If people have a problem and they want to just talk to somebody, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and Randy does a great job, as he says, and he quotes me. I said, "Man, you ask the best questions."
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't necessarily have all the answers, but
Right.
Randy has a lot of questions. So he's a great asset as we go through the mastermind process. And so I appreciate him a lot. And thanks for being here, Randy. Casey, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? We'll get a rose in here amongst the thorns, and you can share your.
Well, I wrote this on the plane last night. I was inspired. It says, we can dream, we can share love and joy, we can change the lives of others, we can all be a gift to others. I want LifeWave education to be my gift to you. I want you to know what LifeWave is, what stem cell activation is, what pain management is, what stamina and flexibility, what all those things you can have just by education. So
Cool.
Please reach out. I'm Casey Eckert with LifeWave.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Okay, let me see. Ricky Jean, why don't you go ahead while
You're
I'm
faded out, David.
You're
Again.
fading again.
Okay. Ricky
But
Jean.
I heard my name.
Okay.
So, Ricky Jean Wright. First of all, I'm a sinner saved by grace, married to a wonderful woman for 49 years, got 3 children, 8 grandchildren, a serial entrepreneur since 1994, singer-songwriter since 1980, and been doing merchant services, credit card processing since 2010. Ricky Jean Wright.
All right.
All right, you guys are not cooperating, so I'm gonna keep going. But I'm gonna ask you. You need to be thinking about any kind of challenges or goals or objectives you have. Casey's been on the hot seat a few times, so and I want to, and I don't mind if she has a challenge, but I want to focus in on a couple of challenges here and see if we can add some value. So don't be bashful. Okay, Bill, you want to go ahead?
Oh, all righty. Since Scott doesn't know me at all, I will start from the beginning. I am a widowed 80-year-old, 3-time cancer survivor with atrial fibrillation, high blood pressure, and an implanted pacemaker that continues to enjoy a life, an exciting and rewarding life of challenge, adventure, and accomplishment such as my late wife, Mary, and I shared for over 50 years together because of what we learned about who we really are and why we really, what our purpose in life is. So my challenge is always to tell people, I know who I am and why I'm here to you. And what I look for is opportunities to share that with more and more people that are looking for or wondering about that, or how do I find that out? How do I know what I should be doing? All right.
All right, Bill. Good job. And yeah, if you've got somebody, especially somebody in transition or somebody trying to get clarity on
Yeah.
what value they really had, not only why, but what value they provide, um, then I would say that Bill is somebody that you'd like to have a one-to-one with. So that's a beautiful thing. Okay. All right, let's keep moving. We've got a good crowd here today. So let me see. Dr. Scott, why don't I go with you right now? If you would like to introduce yourself and share how you found us and why you're here and all that kind of stuff.
Great. Thank you for having me. I'm not sure how I found you, but I think it's a good thing. Name is Scott Dell, officially a doctor as of 2019, but not that kind of doctor, doctorate in business. Full-time academic for 15 years, entrepreneur for 30 plus. My specialties are in the area of helping 18 to 28-year-olds in the career space find their passions and pursue their opportunities, heavily working with college career service offices, companies that are trying to find people. And lately, I've been presenting on ChatGPT and the whole AI chatbot scene, which is amazing as a tool. I've got some speaking engagements coming up and keynoting on that. It's just a powerful offering that can do so much for all of us in terms of springboarding ideas. It's often wrong, by the way. It hallucinates.
Yep.
But when it's right,
No.
it can really give some. It's great for professionals to augment what you do. It's lousy for novices when they're new to stuff and they're trying to say, "Oh, that sounds right," and the response is going to be 5 steps, 6 steps. I've given some examinations and 52% right, 48% wrong. So you're looking at stuff like that, and I teach accounting and business. You look at stuff like that and saying, it's great for the professional because they can see what's wrong. It's lousy for the amateur who's going to believe it like the gospel. So thank you for having me, and a pleasure to be here.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Scott. I'm glad you're here. And actually, one of the things we always invite, we have invited ChatGPT to our mastermind. So in here, when we pursue a challenge or a goal, we may ask ChatGPT what it thinks, and then we do kind of what you've said. Is we look at that and say, does that look right? Let me add to that. Let me subtract from that. So we bring the whole thing to the thing. Are you sharing your screen, Scott? Or who's sharing their screen?
I was sharing.
Oh, okay. All right.
There was the comment about questioning and
Yeah.
Who has a good question. I thought that quote was very appropriate it was part of one of my presentations. And
Yeah.
I popped it up.
Randy.
And, so
Yeah.
I thought you appreciate the thought that goes with that. So yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think that one of the things, and we, like I started to say, we always invite what we call Sherpas. This is people that maybe are working with ChatGPT or other AI. I mean, one of the things is a lot of people don't realize ChatGPT is in the news. Everybody's getting enamored with it, and it's pretty a cool tool, but there are other AI tools out there. We talked a little bit about those. So if you have other artificial intelligence, as I always say, artificial intelligence is better than none at all. But that being said, we do have to, as we say, we do have to filter it through some brain cells, and actually, editing is a good thing. So,
By the way, I will say artificial intelligence is not intelligence, but it is powerful. So we got to be careful how we use it.
right. Okay, so let's keep going. Who else? Let's see. Zip, you want to introduce yourself? Can you come on camera? If you don't respond quickly, then I figure you're on a call.
Hey, zippity doodah, zippity day. Plenty of CBG out there. So plenty of sunshine. And so the CBG helps with your brain. So who do you know that might have PTSD, needs better focus? I've got some great testimony about focusing if you're going into a meeting. Then there's also We also have one for sleeping called Dream. I don't know if you can see that right now because I can't see myself on this thing. And so if you need some better sleep, it's got the Delta 8. We've been in business for over 8 years, and we help put the laws together in the nation in the state of Texas with the AGs. So I'm Zip. Oh, I forgot. I want to tighten your belt. 30 days swimsuit season's here. So if you got something hanging over your belt, we can help you release that 25, 30 pounds and make you not have to wear that white shirt to go to the swimming pool. I'm Zip, putting the drops on you and tightening your belt.
All right, Zip. And actually, if you go up to the center up there and click on view and click it to gallery, you'll be able to see everybody that's on right now on the screen. You'll have to increase it because it defaults to 9 people. So you'll have to increase it so you can see everybody that's here. But anyway, that'll help you. And you'll see yourself too. So, okay, let's keep going. Who hasn't? That's Todd. You want to go? You want to come off mic, or Todd Brewster? Are you just listening? Or are you here? Okay, I'm not getting a response. Todd might have stepped away. So let's go to Sean. Sean, you want to open your mic and then introduce yourself? Well.
Yes, no.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back if they get involved. So, as we said when we started, today we wanted to start with your introductions and if there's any chat. So Sean is just listening. So he posted in the chat.
I think my mic actually may be working now. I was trying to.
Oh, okay. Okay, we can hear you, Sean.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Sean. I've been using ChatGPT for a while now, and I'm anxiously awaiting an API key for 4. I have the 3.5, but I have not gotten past the waiting list on that.
So you're looking for ChatGPT 4.
Well, I have access to it through the chat interface, but not API access.
Oh, okay.
And I've actually implemented a 3.5 implementation in a low code program called Node-RED, and introduced the models to my business as well. We do medical document automation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Congratulations and thanks for being here. We always invite. We're on a learning journey here. One of the beauties of ChatGPT and other AI, if you're not afraid to break something, is that which you don't need to be. You can learn a lot just by working with them. Trying them, asking good questions, that kind of stuff, and that's kind of how we've embraced it in this mastermind. Is we throw out challenges, questions, those kinds of things, and sometimes we're a specific topic. Like next week when Lee Smith is joining us, we're going to talk about being speaker confidence and those kinds of things. But today we're really addressing or going to focus on any particular challenges or questions that folks have here in the mastermind around their business and their focus today, whatever that might be. Casey's been pretty good at throwing out her challenges. She's relatively new and doing what she's doing, and we've been able to learn a lot, not only from the hundreds of years of experience here that are on this mastermind, but also that. So, Bernie, you want to go ahead? Bernie's got a paid version of ChatGPT, and he's helped us in this a little bit as we're going forward. So, Bernie, you want to go ahead?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir. We got you loud and clear.
Okay. As always, my opening ask is, might you know a family looking for a do-right in-home care company? We're first-class caregivers. We're a premium brand of assisted living for those who care to age or rehab in the comfort and safety of home. You know, we're not clinical, but we're indispensable. My best referrals, of course, come from family females who culturally do about 70% of emergency family care. And we all know that's not fair. An old storyline says it best. Mom and dad died from the same cause, but only dad had the illness. So we're first class caregivers. We're help with stuff when family care is not enough.
All right, Bernie. And Bernie is a great guy. So, as I said before, I don't know if you, before you got on, I'll be in the room tomorrow for our regular networking group. So, Todd, I hear your mic open. Are you there? You want to introduce yourself?
Okay. Am I open?
Yep, your mic
Okay,
is
I
open.
didn't realize that. I've been trying to figure this out.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how I opened it. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, I guess I help people. Mainly what I want to do is talk to small businesses, get to know them, figure out what their problems are, help them with marketing it, help them with showing them how life insurance can make them more financially secure. And I guess someone told me I can go to ChatGPT and find out speaking engagements in the North Dallas area that I'd love to be able to speak in front of different groups. So that would be something I would appreciate if anybody has any ideas on how I can do that.
So you'd like to be speaking?
Yes, sir. About
Okay.
About my book on baseball.
Okay.
So, baseball trivia. Well, grandpa-knows-baseball.com, I guess is the way to say it.
Okay. They actually, our speaker next week is going to be talking about speaking with confidence and those kinds of things. So
yeah, no, I have no problem, because what I do is I kind of facilitate when I speak. I talk about baseball questions, and then I get the people involved in it. So it's a different way of speaking, where I just don't get up and speak for 10 minutes. I get a more interaction with among the people that are there.
Okay. So the process of delivery, but you want to speak on baseball.
On baseball, right? Because I want to sell books eventually.
Right.
I've got a woman that's going ahead. She's putting me on YouTube, and I understand that when people become members of this, that I get over 1,000 people that'll get some money coming in that way. So there's different avenues of making money doing the baseball, which is nice. And because it's the same thing with marketing and life insurance. I go ahead and help him with that, but I'm not really just delving into one thing. I like helping a little bit of everything, and instead of selling, I'm seeing myself more as a consultant.
Okay. Casey?
I just wanted to say to Todd, I finally got your baseball book to my brother over the weekend, and he was so excited to read it, and he's going to quiz his son-in-law, who is a younger version.
Well, yeah, if he can write a testimony or something like that, that'd be appreciated.
Okay.
So
I
have something that I thought was very interesting about ChatGPT. I wanted to throw it out there and see if anybody else has heard of this. Y'all ready?
Go for it.
On my iPhone, an ad came up, and it says, "Meet the ChatGPT app." GPT. You can ask it any question and get a response in real time. It's built on the ChatGPT app. Install now. Google Play, Apple Store. Has anybody heard of that? That there's an actual app for your phone that you can just ask it questions and get the real-time answers?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I'm not using it. How about Dr. Scott or Sean or anybody that's maybe a little more heavily into ChatGPT at this point?
There's actually an Ask AI app as well, and there are more apps coming out there. Ask AI has been pretty good. I've used that.
What was the name of it?
Ask
Ask AI.
AI.
App AI.
Yeah.
It seems to me like that if it was on your phone, it would be more like Google search. It would be easier.
I used to call ChatGPT a Google on steroids. I have since stopped saying that because it's beyond Google. It's actually a conversation. You remember your conversations. So Google search, you ask a question, you're done. With the AI chatbots like ChatGPT and GPT-4, it's actually a conversation that you can do a deeper dive and really go down a path to get some answers. So I've withdrawn my Google on steroids comment in favor of more of a conversation for a deeper dive.
Yeah. Although Google still, again, people throw around things, but it's still the algorithms, artificial intelligence. It's the type of intelligence. It's a conversational, text interactive thing. But Google has AI too.
And actually, they have Bard, but they're also integrated in their Google search, as is Bing. Microsoft Bing is integrating after spending $10 billion to get half an OpenAI.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Microsoft's got a big chunk of their attention, I'm sure. So,
and they're using 4 as well. And it's Chat GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. So it's not Chat GPT-4, just for clarification, technically, if you want to impress people.
So what's the difference between? Yeah, I mean, part of it is, again, we're on the journey, so that's part of the mastermind. That's this is intended to be making us all expanding our own minds. We're all contemplating and applying in our own way some of the functionality for ChatGPT, and actually, this platform we're doing the meeting on has a contact generator. Connection generator AI that basically when it learns what and who you like and recommends people that you connect to, which is just a different application of not ChatGPT. We're not doing it on that engine. We have our own AI, but so AI is not new. That's one of the things that we've kind of learned a little bit as we've been. Sean, did you have any, since you're kind of new to us, I don't know if you come on screen or if you just want to share verbally, but do you have any thoughts around ChatGPT from your angle since you haven't joined us before?
Sure. Yeah, actually, I've been using it. I have a game that I created called Cinemashers, and through a series of prompts, trained ChatGPT to be able to generate new questions in it. And I've been surprised at the creativity that it's able to do. Let's see, I think share my screen.
Yeah, I have it set up to where you can share your screen. Where people just.
But by the way,
I have a subreddit, and these were actually generated by ChatGPT. You have kind of a tagline format and then a synopsis that you do, and someone's basically supposed to guess the movies that comprise this synopsis. And
yeah,
he's always
Groundhog
share
Day.
a word in the middle.
Groundhog Day.
It is Groundhog Day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow's the
yeah, I got you. Okay,
global disaster movie. So
the global
anyway,
disaster. Yeah.
But I was really surprised. Like I'm not exactly sure if this was exactly what ChatGPT intended or not, but Break the Ice happens to work very well with the love story in Groundhog Day, as well as being literal breaking of ice in Day After Tomorrow.
Fascinating.
So it's actually been able to generate quite a number of these, and so I created this subreddit to be able to do it, and so I've been enjoying developing that quite a bit, as well as I'm using ChatGPT to generate AWS infrastructure as code using the CDK as well, and that's been really useful, as well as being able to create technical papers, things like that. It does a very good job.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing, Sean. That's good. I mean, you're obviously a tech guy, and playing with the more technical aspects of it. That's one that we haven't really like jumped into heavily, is the fact that you can actually help ChatGPT can actually help you generate code.
Yeah.
Dr. Scott, you have something you'd like to share?
Yeah, I did put in the chat. I did a 1-hour presentation. It's more of an overview intro to ChatGPT, and it's
Okay.
geared for accountants, but only the last 5 or 10 minutes is really accounting focused. The rest of it is a pretty general introduction for those not real familiar, and even for some that are real familiar. I'm doing a part 2 on that next week for the same group, but it's just to give you some insights as to some background, and I put the link in the chat with a tiny URL.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing. Sean, the callme.ai, what is that? Can you just, I clicked on the link. It looks like it. So you call Annie? Sean, you're on mute, by the way. Sorry.
Hey, sorry. I actually just got a call from work. I think I may have to drop.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
Call Annie's just it's a text to speech to text, artificial intelligence through phone call. So you can have a natural language conversation with an AI model.
Huh. Fascinating. Learn something new every day. So that's the thing is, well, thank you, Sean, for sharing that. I understand if you have to actually go and do work. So that's cool. So one of the things is any other discoveries over the last week or so, anybody else playing with any other AI? Glad we've got some expertise. I'm going to look at your introductory presentation, Dr. Scott, and see what we've got there. Bernie, did you have anything?
Not really. YouTube does a very good job of highlighting all of the opportunities, and I tend to spend a lot of time learning it that way. And then there's a lot of cautionary things going on as well, by some fairly high level technologists. And so I think we're going to have to pay some attention to the downside, the risk of AI as well, somewhere along the line.
Right. Well, I mean, again, there are plenty of people wanting to get their arms around AI in general, right? I mean, that's a and there are various motives for that. I'd be interested in anybody's thoughts or any. One of the things I'm going to while we're just let's talk about that for a second. Anybody have any thoughts on that, Dr.
Well, I was just
Scott?
curious
Anybody?
as to, Bernie, what do you think the risks are to AI? Or what are
Well,
you reading?
Yeah, in the upcoming 2024 election, for instance, it's going to be possibly an AI disinformation battle that the voters will have to figure out. So it's going to be very difficult to discern the truth of imagery, the truth of verbal. It's just going to complicate things quite a bit.
Okay. I can see that possibility.
Any other thoughts on that topic? I'm asking it, how can I get speaking
Yeah,
engagements
because
on baseball?
there was somebody was trying to do a kidnapping, and after you have your enough voices out there on YouTube and the Facebook, they could combine it, and they made a phone call faking a kidnapping. But the mother or whoever figured it out, it didn't send any money. So that's part of the problem is it can copy your case and stuff like that. And I see Scott put something back up there that confused me there for a second.
Yeah,
So now-
well, I heard that was a pretty popular news story a week or so ago, if it's the same one that I heard. But actually, I thought I heard that somebody had actually taken it and taken the voice and actually was able to extort the money. But
right. Well, there was one earlier about that too.
Yeah.
And there was a banker, millions of dollars out of Hong Kong, I believe, and there are a lot of fake. I mean, it's brought phishing to a whole new level. And I popped another slide here. You're talking about the fears. I mean, you look at that and say there's a lot of bad stuff potentially going out there, and there is potentially. It doesn't take too many bad actors. From deep fakes and cheating is a misinformation that was brought up earlier. Intellectual property, people are being sued. Some of the art generators are being sued. A lot of bad actors out there. Unintended consequences. There's going to be a whole bunch of junk dumped into the web right now. Some of it true, some of it false. Books being written, articles being generated. And the internet is going to be flushed with a whole bunch of junk that is not necessarily true, but it's going to be part of the searchable place that Google is going to be documenting. And now we're going to use a lot of energy to store this stuff and a lot of energy to retrieve this stuff. So the part of the presentation I included, it talks about that. The other thing I did add in the chat, which was a positive, I have been majorly impressed by something called Colossian. It's a text video, and I just used it in the presentation last Thursday.
Dr. Scott, can you hold on a second? Zip, can you mute? I think we're getting background from you. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Fair enough. I was majorly impressed. Not that it did such a nice introduction for me when I typed in the text and I had a script in English, but then I said, translate to Spanish. My background changed into Spanish. The closed captioning changed to Spanish. The language changed to Castilian Spanish. And my wife's Hispanic, and she said, amazing Spanish. I did it in Chinese. 30 seconds later, I had a whole presentation in Chinese. This was a 2-minute video with closed captioning, with my background in Chinese characters. And I can count from 1 to 10 in Chinese, but that's my extent. I was just floored by what this stuff could do from another tool. And it's a free 14-day trial. You can play with it all you want. And then it's like $20 a month or something. But it's just incredible if you're doing international, multilingual. I was just, there were some other tools that they were double the price, more expensive, but I thought this was really capable. So I thought I'd share it. It is pretty amazing stuff.
You could really climb down a rat hole, huh?
You can get lost in this stuff, right? It's 3 days later you climb out and you say, "Oh, come up for air. Give me some breakfast. I want to eat something."
Well, that's fascinating.
Go ahead, Bernie.
Go ahead, Bernie.
Hello?
Go ahead, Bernie.
Oh, we've all heard the old saying, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one to hear it, doesn't make a sound. There was a little legal spin on that, and that is, if chat does the steal on your copyright, can the person who asked chat be accountable for that? Or did chat do it, or did I do it? So that's being called into question legally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the whole, I'm just putting the information to you versus I'm responsible for it. That's the battle, right now with social media versus regular media, versus the traditional media and stuff like that. Are they obligated to do something with that, which then also has some censorship and other types of manipulative types of issues that can come too. So Casey, you had a question?
So there was a demonstration with people in the music industry, and they wanted to show how easy it was to take big name songwriters or singers or whatever and put them. So what they did, they showed a demonstration. They actually went to ChatGPT, asked for some lyrics, and gave them a couple of keywords, came up with pretty, sounded really good. Then they went to Drake and they went to Rihanna. They showed how they took their voices and then how they put them into the song, and it sounded as if they were singing it.
Wow.
So then they were looking at each other and they're thinking, this could be problematic because Drake didn't sing it and Rihanna didn't sing it. So who gets the credit for the music? Because people are thinking it's those two professionals. So now what? So neither one of the people that are in the industry, they had no answers. They did acknowledge it was going to be problematic.
Unless there's some way that they can tag it, electronically tag it.
Yeah,
How would you know if your voice was being replicated and out there? How would you know unless somebody told you? Hey,
I don't personally know, right?
Yeah.
Authentication. I mean, the whole deep fake scene has been pushing a lot of directions. Yeah.
Scary world.
It's just, yep. You live in interesting times. I used to think that was a blessing, but then I found out it was a curse.
So I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
I want to show y'all something. We've been sitting here for a month, knowing that Microsoft Bing had invested all that money into ChatGPT. Well, here's an app for the ChatGPT, and they actually say, if I can get it on here, faster, more accurate, more capable. The new Bing runs on the next generation OpenAI large language model. This language model is now more powerful than ChatGPT and customized for search. More relevant, timely, targeted results, all from improved safety. Microsoft, and their name is Prometheus model. And our proprietary technology, the Microsoft model, is a collection of capabilities that best leverages the power of OpenAI. So they've taken the chat GDP and apparently added to it. Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah, they've added GPT-4 to Bing, so it's part of the Bing search.
So I
didn't realize there was an app as well. So that's cool. Thank you for sharing that.
So I was just thinking, here we are. Has it been a month that we've been talking about this? And within that month, all of a sudden, Microsoft has come out with something that they've taken what they invested in and went further with it. So
yes, it's been out about a month now. That's their $10 billion. Well, they were part of the founders, along with Elon Musk. The first $1 billion going into it, Microsoft was part of that, and then they bought 49% for another $10 billion a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I did add something else in the chat. If you've heard of something called Copilot, that's Microsoft's answer to integrating AI into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Office, Teams, LinkedIn. They are doing some amazing things with AI. It's a 30-minute video, 36-minute video. If you take a look at it, you can start seeing you can ask it, take my spreadsheet and project sales. Take my spreadsheet and do some more analysis. Give me some graphs, and it's on its way. Rather than you having to do what if analysis and go into the functionality in Excel or even in Word. Give me, summarize a meeting, summarize the memos, details.
That's what I was reading from. I was reading from the Bing Your AI Copilot app.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Copilot.
I know everything is happening fast, but it's happening faster than we can talk about it.
Right. So right. The other redeeming factor, ChatGPT-5 is not coming out for a long time. They've announced we're not jumping that ship. They went from 3.5 to 4 in no time, but they're not doing the 5 that quickly. So it gives us a chance to breathe almost.
Gives them a chance to breathe.
So the 4 is the 4 available? This is maybe a dumb question, but how do you access 4? Or do you have to be prior?
It's $20 a month. So yes, you do have to subscribe to get to 4. Although Bing is using 4 as well. So you can get a back door using the Bing search, and that will use GPT-4. But go ahead. I'll share another slide if you want that summarizes 4 versus 3.5 if you're curious.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, like I say, I've been presenting on this stuff, and I have a whole bunch of slides.
Glad you're here, Dr. Scott.
Well, happy to share. This is fun stuff and scary stuff, as we say.
So Bing is free, right?
3.5 is Bing is free, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're using the AI Copilot,
Now,
is that
Copilot's in beta, so it's not fully released yet. Apparently, that app has it released, which is kind of cool. But this was a step up from 3.5 to 4. The quote from OpenAI, it enhances creativity, visual input, because it could actually read pictures. If you have handwriting in a picture, it can read the handwriting. It can actually project and use different content. And then it has a much more capacity. So instead of having the 3,000 words of input in 3.5, you get 25,000 words. They're limited you, even if you pay the $20 a month, you only get 25 prompts in a 3-hour time slot, so you can run out of space, run out of time. And this is more background on 3.5 overall. But if you're new to this is kind of an overview commentary on what this AI chatbot's all about. And be aware. I've got people saying, "So can it recommend a good stock?" I'll say it'll recommend a good stock from 2020 or 2021, but it doesn't go after 2021, so it's not scraping the internet. Although you can include a URL, like a LinkedIn URL or a website URL, and say, "Yeah, summarize this website. How's the company doing? Summarize this person. I need to write a recommendation." So it can use current URLs, but the data set that's scraped is 2021 or prior for 3.5 and 2022 or prior for 4. And 4 is that much better. It's really that much more powerful. So food for thought you thought you might enjoy.
Scott, are you using something to transcribe or do on your computer, or is that something new? I'm trying to.
I'm using, that's a PowerPoint presentation that I
Right, but it was actually transcribing it was like closed captioning.
just lost your sound, David.
He's asking, as you are talking, Scott, as you were talking or you're online, it's transcribing our words.
Oh, that's
Are you
probably in
doing-
my PowerPoint. Yeah, my
So how-
PowerPoint is generating closed captioning.
And how do you get that? Can you do it on any? Is that just for
Any
you?
PowerPoint you should be able to, yes.
So how do you connect that?
Good question.
It's a setting. I guess it's a setting in PowerPoint. I haven't used the closed captioning, but it probably is now with all the online tools and stuff that
It's a PowerPoint feature. I mean, we can talk more about that if you want to do
Okay.
a deeper dive.
No, that's fine. That's good that we learned something else.
Every
That's
day.
good.
That's what I love about teaching. I learn a lot.
Yeah.
So I downloaded the new Bing AI Copilot on my phone while we were sitting here talking, and it downloaded and it says, check out the new Bing Auto AI Copilot. Ask me anything. Chat now. So it's up and running,
Cool.
and it doesn't cost anything.
Price is right.
It's
So
integrated. Is
they
that
are
integrated
doing-
into?
They are doing what we thought.
Right.
They are competing with Google search. I mean, that's their whole thing.
Yep.
And I thought maybe it was just advertisement, but I had it already on my phone, and I just sort of went back to it and upgraded it, and bing, there it is.
No pun intended,
Ask
right?
me anything. Chat now.
Bing, there it is.
Bing,
Yeah.
bing.
It's like using Alexa on your phone or Hey Google on your phone, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's on my phone.
You can blow your phone up with all that crap.
It says also, search for news, write a song, search for music.
Oh,
Actually, one of my favorite. You can set the tone. Like say this like in the style of the King James Bible.
Yeah.
Although one of my favorites, say it in the style of Dr. Seuss, and you'll get rhyme and rhythm with it, which is kind of interesting too.
Yeah, when they were having some problems, they were unable to get on. I asked it what kind of, give me some creative outgoing messages or down or whatever, and it in the form of Shakespeare, and so it was, using Shakespearean language to explain the downtime. So I thought that was funny. But what other thoughts or other things? What else should we be aware of, Dr. Scott?
We could talk for hours.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of time here. We're just, like I say, we're learning a lot today. We're trying to expand. Anybody have a I will go back. Let me see. I had actually asked ChatGPT Todd's question. It actually gave me okay. I just asked it the general question, how can I get speaking engagements on baseball? And then it gave 6 steps. So I'm not gonna. I'll send this to you, Todd. I'll send that to you, and we can do it. I gave some basic steps on building your expertise, creating a portfolio, telling you to do what you're doing, which is networking, using some of the social media platforms, because you could drill down. That one thing about ChatGPT is when you get and I'd be interested in any thoughts on this from Sherpas who are you can't, if you take the first one, that's great, but you're probably looking to drill down into one of those categories. But if you start it with, okay, give me some ideas, then you refine your questions.
Right.
And then you say, okay, that's interesting. Okay, how about that? And I find one of the things is, I don't know about anybody else, but since I've been talking about ChatGPT, and I don't know if it's just me or if it's everybody, but all my social feeds are blown up with people wanting to sell me ChatGPT programs, prompt sets, all this, how to do this, right? I mean, anybody else having that experience?
Fortunately not.
How about anybody else? Anybody else get to see those in their like Facebook, LinkedIn feeds, or is it just me? Is it tagged me as somebody who cares?
You're an easy target.
Somebody
it's-
cares and you're putting this on, so it
You're
must be your podcast, it must be this, and we're searching
Yeah.
for it.
You're a sponge for knowledge, and they're trying to fill that sponge.
Well, I find it interesting because everybody's running, all the coaches, all the speakers, and present company excluded, by the way, Dr. Scott. I'm not busting you for this, but they're all running. Hey, I've got something to sell or to tell, or and they're trying to monetize it. So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Right.
it's basically people are saying, hey, I'm ahead of you. Invite me to your group, or here's a 1,000, 2,000 prompts that you can use to do various sundry of things. What are your thoughts on that, Scott, in terms of?
It's be careful. I read in a tweet that somebody had, basically it's a security concern. They
Okay.
posted questions the same way that Google will read your emails before you send them and say, oh, you forgot to make an attachment, or some office will do that too. But they found out that YouTube was starting sending them advertisements based on their AI query, the prompt, not necessarily anything else they were searching on the web. So they're saying, oh, what's the connection between this AI chatbot stuff and YouTube? Because now it's sending me advertisements geared towards my prompt query in the chatbot. So, and there's a lot of security questions. It's been restored in Italy as of a few days ago, 5 days ago now, I guess. They banned it for about a month.
Okay, so it is back. I knew they had banned it. I didn't hear that they had.
I was talking to a colleague in Italy about a week and a half after they banned it, and he said, yeah, we now have Pizza GPT. And Pizza GPT is a foreign national outside of Italy that was basically allowing them to access ChatGPT that didn't have the restrictions. And they still could use Bing, by the way, and GPT-4. They just couldn't use OpenAI's ChatGPT at all. But OpenAI has accommodated them and said, okay, we're not going to go to 18-year-olds and we're not going to track it. We're not going to have that detailed level of tracking in Italy. So a number of European countries are looking at banning it the same way, and they're still examining it. It's banned in China, it's banned in Russia, banned in North Korea. For public consumption, they're still using it for nefarious.
Oh yeah, they're using it to
activities.
mine the data, figure out what they can get out of it. Of course, that's
and spread propaganda, spread falsehoods, deep fakes, and whatever else that goes with that. So, interesting stuff.
Well, if other people are banning it, just like they banned TikTok, should our bureaucrats in our government not use ChatGPT because people can hack into it?
You got to be careful what you put in it. That's the truth.
So we should start to say, hey.
Although when the government bans it, it makes it more attractive to a lot of other people too. So,
Right.
spell my name right. Don't care what you say about me.
Right.
So any other words of wisdom or content? I'm glad you showed up, Scott. You gave us a lot of fodder to contemplate here. So
Come back next week,
is good.
Thank you. I also wrote a book on LinkedIn, so if anybody has LinkedIn insight,
cool.
you can have that chat.
I sent you an invitation to connect.
Thank you. Honored.
And I sent you some other people that are doing well. I put that link in there about the other financial thing for $27, and he's writing about how to save your job if you're a CPA or you're accounting in a big firm, because, like you said, now you can write financials or do spreadsheets for that. So, which I'm amazed.
I saw an interview with that guy who was the guy pulled out. But yeah, there's good stuff here. So thank you for allowing the opportunity to share.
Yeah, sorry we're not further down the road on some of this stuff but we're learning too. So we're all expanding our experience. Ricky's now into going to be telling me I should be instead of an Apple guy, I should be on Microsoft so that I can take advantage of all the Bing stuff. So
You should. Just kidding.
Well, I just loaded Bing on my iPhone, so it has the app for iPhones,
Yeah.
probably for Macs.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I got Bing on my iPhone.
yeah.
I'm just curious about the nature of this group. But this is a weekly thing, or is
Yeah.
it
Every week. Yeah. Every
Every week.
week. We have a mastermind. We also have we're here locally in Dallas, Fort Worth. Where are you at, by the way, Scott?
Florence, South Carolina.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Native
right.
Bostonian, 30 years in Wisconsin.
Okay. So yeah, we're predominantly, we started in Dallas, Fort Worth. We've got, now that we have this Be Connected platform. By the way, Scott, I'd like to, if you look over to the left there where it says schedule a one-to-one.
Okay.
Can you see on the screen?
Sure can.
Yeah. I'd like to, have a one-to-one with you. So you click on that. That'll take you to my booking calendar, and it should open up after I get back in Texas tomorrow from Michigan. So, but yeah, I'd like to chat with you and see how we can serve each other. So,
Actually, I put my Calendly link in there too, so you can go direct at your convenience.
okay. So anyway, so yeah, I'd like to get together and
Okay.
compare notes and see how I can serve you. We do bring in next week. Our speaker is going to be talking about speaking and having confidence in speaking, and going through that, and so getting those opportunities and like Todd was talking about, but also just how to go about it, how to work on that, and so we can bring you back also for another mastermind where maybe if you've got some educational content that we should consider here or on this or LinkedIn or whatever you might have, that's one of the things we do. We've been doing this for in various forms, starting with kind of a lunch and learn format in the room when everybody was getting together. And we were doing that on Fridays. We just moved it to Tuesdays and moved it from lunchtime to 9:30 in the morning Central.
No food.
Yeah, no food, but we stayed online after COVID and whatever.
You can't send out DoorDash or anything. I mean, we'll make this happen.
Yeah. So no, but we realized that we could bring in folks from all over the globe now, really, to educate and to talk with us and share their wares and share their stuff. So that's what we now do, and we're on this platform versus Zoom, and we can talk about why that is and stuff. But I still have a Zoom account. I do a lot of Zooms, but we use this virtual meeting platform.
Actually, I think I found you through Be Connected. That was where.
Okay, that's probably where you found us. Found me, and so I'm a regular there. I was number 147 on the platform, so I do know that one a little better than ChatGPT. Let's put it that way.
I'm a Zoom fan.
Casey.
I have a question. If we can go back to that questioning about the value of going to ChatGPT or going to Google search or whatever, if I wanted to find out what health and wellness fairs are local, which would be better, to go to just a regular Google search or go to ChatGPT? Which would give me the most prolific number of the area?
Or the most accurate, too.
Or yeah.
I'll give you an example. I was looking at all state CPA societies, Wisconsin Institute of CPA, South Carolina Association, whatever. And I said, give me the executive directors, give me their emails, give me a phone number, give me an address, give me an abbreviation and a general mailbox. Every one of the executive directors was wrong.
This is in what? In which one?
In ChatGPT.
In ChatGPT.
Yeah. GPT-4.
Yeah.
But I had a nice list of all the associations that I cut and pasted on my spreadsheet. But the same thing asked for, give me board names of members of the board directors of publicly traded companies. Everyone was wrong.
Yeah.
2021 is the data set for
Right.
3.5. So after that, it didn't affect, doesn't have the current data. So if you're looking for accurate listings, you're back to a Google or Bing search.
Yeah.
Because GPT would not be the best
That makes
environment
sense.
for accurate information.
It's not everything to everybody.
No, it's getting there, but not yet.
So you think Google would be the most accurate and the most current?
Yeah, their algorithms are the best.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'd use LinkedIn, by the way, but that's another story.
But Bing, Casey, but Bing would be, I believe, I found it to be just as accurate as Google search. And now they've incorporated the turn your microphone on your phone and you can just talk into it, and they've incorporated the chat, that part of the ChatGPT into the Bing search. So I've noticed that when I try to use the microphone with the Google search, it won't understand my Southern way of talking sometimes.
I have a hard time with that too, buddy.
I just added another search tool called u.com. It actually has a lot of AI functionality. It gives citations, which the other guys don't, what the sources are. But I've had actually some pretty good luck with that if you're exploring. It's just not a search engine, but it has AI augmented searches. So that might be worth, the u.com might be worthy consideration.
So if I go on, use my computer instead of my phone, and I did the search that way, I would, if they gave me a list, at least I'd be able to download it and then use it to make calls rather than taking up the space on my phone and not having something that I could actually hold and use as a tool. So I'm thinking probably I'm going to try Google and see if that's going to be more accurate.
Good luck.
Thanks.
The CEO of OpenAI originally quoted as saying that the ChatGPT had hit a wall and that getting bigger was not going to do any good, and that they needed to make it better, but not necessarily bigger. Can you comment on that?
Whether they, I mean, I think that the key is that if you've been on ChatGPT, the market share is exploding, and the uses are exploding. And having been kind of, that's what I did back, in my corporate days, was scaling and deploying systems to large groups of folks and that kind of thing in an outsourcing window. It's going to be, it's getting to the point where the market will turn away if they don't fix a lot of the stuff, right? So is that the quote you're talking about? Slow, it's buggy, it doesn't do a lot of things very well, but neither did the very earliest. Yep, that's true.
Yeah, and this is the latest version. This is GPT-4.
Right.
This is Sam Altman from OpenAI, the CEO.
Right.
So it's just
well, and that's the funny thing is, a lot of people get on this platform, on Be Connected or other platforms that are newer, in the early adopter, early innovator stage, and you expect everything to work the same way as it did, and that's a journey and a process, and it's different. There's learning curves and all that kind of stuff. That's what we're dealing with here as we embrace or incorporate AI and ChatGPT and others into our Mastermind toolkit as we start figuring out how to apply these. So
Testing.
go ahead, Bernie.
If you have a lot of time, there's a 2-hour and 20-minute interview with Sam Altman that I popped in there for your entertainment.
Yeah, Bernie.
With all the discussion about the lookalike AI products, what did IBM buy for $10 billion?
You mean Microsoft or IBM?
I said Microsoft. Yeah, it was Microsoft.
You meant Microsoft, right?
Yeah, I think I said Microsoft.
No, you said IBM.
You said
Oh,
IBM, but
okay.
that's okay.
I apologize.
Microsoft bought 49% of OpenAI. So,
Of OpenAI.
which is the company that developed ChatGPT and
Right,
GPT-4.
Okay. So all these variants have to pay OpenAI a fee.
Short answer is it depends. There are a bunch of open platforms. They have GPT-2, GPT-3. Google or Meta has their platform. I'm sorry, Google or Alphabet has their platform. Meta or Facebook has their platform. Amazon has their platform, Lex. Salesforce has their platform, Einstein. There's a whole bunch of companies have their own. A lot of the stuff is open access. There's a company in Europe, I think Germany, that gives you free access to these base sets of data sets. But you're right, OpenAI, right now, if you want to access their 3.5 or 4, you got to pay the piper. They have a different plan. You can pay by the word instead of paying the monthly fee. So they got a couple of plans, and somehow they'll monetize it. But they're going to really monetize it by having people buy into it, like Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be a nonprofit. It switched over to a for-profit, and they maximized the amount of profit that can be drawn. In the charter, they said, if you're an investor, you can't make more than this. And they were projecting this year over $1 trillion of investment going into AI. Last year, I mean, even the last quarter of last year, it was like up to $600-700 billion. Now they're projecting over $1 trillion for venture capital VC funds.
On a different topic, are you from North Carolina?
South Carolina. I've been here 4 years now.
Okay.
Down in Florence.
Okay.
The halfway point between New York City and Miami Beach is Florence, South Carolina, on I-95. A lot of people stay overnight here on the travels.
What else? This is good. I'm learning a lot. I've made 2 pages of notes already. So.
Lots of good information.
Dave, I've got to take a quick leave. I've got another meeting to get prepared for, and I know you do too. So thank you so much. Good to see everybody.
See you,
Okay.
Casey.
Great.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Casey. Good
Bye.
to see you again.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so we are going to kind of land the plane, but I want to make sure, is there any other thoughts or things that that we can talk about around this subject? Anybody? We're going to be, like I say, next week, we're going to focus in on presenting, but I think it'll be an interesting conversation around the topic of doing presentations now, doing a mastermind. You know, some people say, you know, I get all kinds of questions all the time about, well, how do you go about starting a networking group? How do you go about, you know, in Zip's case, how do you write a memo that communicates this? Because he can use that assistance. And that's one of the tools, the values there. Has anybody used what's some of the graphics creation tools?
Yes, sir. The Lumen 5.
Well, Lumen 5, I've used. That one takes the written content and puts it into, you know, like a blog post, which I found fascinating. I use that from the beginning. The one I'm talking about is, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I would recognize, but it basically, you say, I want an image that has
You're
this
talking
background.
DALL-E 2 or Midjourney.
Midjourney. That was the one I was looking at. Anybody play with any of
the video,
those?
the presentation I gave you at the beginning of this chat, all the images on my presentation were either made with Midjourney, with DALL-E 2. There's a third one I used, but they're all AI generated. So if you watch the video for an hour, you'll get, or make it a speed 1.5, you can watch it in less time, but you can get a taste of that's the kind of stuff they can do. So that's why I shared that.
And Midjourney is a paid subscription now, right? Is that do I have that right?
It is. It runs on top of another platform that's required, but not Duckord. I'm losing it. But yes, it is a paid subscription. DALL-E 2 is still free.
Hey, buddy.
And there are a couple others that are free or give you so many tokens per month. But you can play with Discord is what it's on. Midjourney requires Discord, but it has, and you can play with it for a while for free. There was a in Pueblo, Colorado last summer, art contest generated on Midjourney, won first prize. Everybody was complaining and contesting, saying, "Hey, they can't win. It wasn't an artist." And the artist said, "Wait a minute, I'm the artist. I use the tool to generate just like I'd use anything else, like a paintbrush to generate," and came up. He still maintained his first prize, but they're probably gonna have another category next year for artificially generated or AI generated versus non-AI hand generated. But he won first prize. He kept it. And then there's a German guy who just declined his prize because he said, I don't feel right accepting this award. It was a photograph. He was a photographer. It looked like a 40s, 50s, black and white, or even 20s, 30s black and white generated, but it was AI generated. And he said, I just wanted to show people that it can do it. I'm not going to take the award.
It was gorgeous. I saw that one. I have a question for you, Doctor. Guys,
I got to leave. Sorry.
All right,
Nice
Randy.
meeting
We'll
you,
see you
Dr.
later.
Scott. Peace.
Take care, Randy.
What was my question? Let's see.
Moments.
Oh, in version 4, can you link your in-house data sources to version 4?
That's a great question. I'm not sure, although what I do know is that for security reasons, OpenAI is now selling you the ability to use in-house data only and not exposure to the rest of the world. So for security purposes, that's one of the big words. You put in a social security number, you put in a name, other information that's going to match, and you can identify somebody. You got to be careful because the current version will take that data and learn from it.
Right.
But they're offering to sell you internal use. A lot of people are already using it. You have chatbots right now on websites.
Mm-hmm.
You go in and say, hi, I'm Susie. Let me help you? And you're talking to a chatbot. You're not talking to Susie or live Susie. You're talking to a chatbot Susie. So when you're doing that, you're accessing their data set. They're answering questions. They're helping guide you. And that's a chatbot tool, an artificial intelligence chatbot tool. Similar, maybe probably not OpenAI's, but they are allowing you now to have in-house sets, and you can license those and develop internal use type programs.
Thank you.
Okay. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah.
That's great. Any others? Any other things?
I got one.
Okay, Ricky.
While we were sitting here, I was searching for new AI things. Came across that Google has already jumped on this too, and they have a new search engine that they're working on called Magi, and it's because of the Chat GPT release. The tech world has gone crazy trying to incorporate all of this in there. But one thing that I thought was very interesting is that this particular search engine will attempt to anticipate what you're going to ask. Is that crazy? Is that wild and crazy?
Oh my God.
Maybe from the questions you've already asked, they maybe can figure out what you're going to ask or should have asked or something.
Actually, that's a great question for you to ask. What should I have asked?
Yeah.
And how would you answer the question I just asked based on the question you just raised?
Yeah.
Even I use in the career space for interviews. What are some good questions in IT or in accounting and finance or in banking to ask somebody in this area? And what are good answers for those questions that I'm asking in that area? And what do you look for? So it's just how you prompt engineering is real in terms of determining how to ask the questions. AI auditing is also real in validating whether the results proposed are correct or incorrect. I was part of a study with 320 odd other accounting faculty members. We tested GPT 3.5 and said, okay, here's an exam. Here's what I gave my students. Here's one that we want to figure out how ChatGPT answers. The answer was ChatGPT scored 48% on average, where our students scored 78% on average. I did this back in December. I was early doing it, and mine was a 46%. My students had an 83% on a sample test. On 3.5, I did the same thing on 4, and 4 came up with an 82%.
Wow.
So it's that much improved. It now can pass the bar exam. It can pass all kinds of. Again, the video, I shared some of the results of those kind of studies.
So apparently, Google has been spooked by Microsoft, and felt like that they were one-upped.
When they released Bard, and then it went public, and they answered a question wrong in a public environment as they were announcing it, stock price of Google or Alphabet dropped like 6% or something. Same day, because they screwed up with Bard, which is their equivalent, their large language model. But yeah, they're scrambling to catch up right now because the momentum's with Microsoft and with OpenAI and chat.
OpenAI, yeah. Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna have to land the plane. Any announcements anybody has coming up tomorrow? By the way, Scott, our in-person networking is a traditional network. We don't do an educational. We have somebody usually do a spotlight, 10-minute spotlight on their business, but it's a networking group. If you're interested in getting, connected to people, there'll be some people joining us virtually as well as people in the room. We do a hybrid meeting there. So it's a little, if you're online, the funny thing is you're living large in the room and people can see you, and it usually works out pretty good. When you're in the room, we do stand up, and sometimes people online, they can't quite see who's talking, but it works out pretty well. So anyway, you're always invited to that. Everybody obviously here is invited. It's from 11:30 Central to 1 every Wednesday. That's our original networking group, and we added this group way back when we started overflowing the room to do a lunch and learn format, and it's now morphed into a mastermind where we bring in hosts to talk about certain topics, and we use our own brains to help each other think through application of those topics to our business. And you've given us today, I appreciate it. You weren't even a scheduled speaker, but if you would, you can email me your content to david@myvisionwarrior.com. Or you
Actually, I sent you a LinkedIn invite as well, David.
Okay. Yeah. And if you're on Be Connected, that's the cleanest. And I just did a talk on reducing the noise of social media versus social business in the Secrets Summit a week ago today, actually. On Be Connected. So there are ways that you can use these tools to make life easier, as opposed to overwhelm us and us be used by the tool rather than us using the tool. So anyway, well, I appreciate everybody being here. We'll be back next Tuesday with Lee Smith. She will be leading